thought about that. I didn't realize it was weird though. Now I feel really self-conscious about it.
You could just set your alarm earlier.
I should. Well, yeah, I could, but
then
and then I feel more productive because I'll be like, oh, look, I got up 5 minutes earlier than I thought I did. I don't know.
Anytime you play mind games with yourself, I think there's a little something weird going on with you. That's all.
All right, yeah, I can cop to that. All right, that's fair. All right, but as long as it's set, the worst part for me is I hate it when like the microwave clock is not set. Like where it's just flashing zeros or nobody's bothered to set it.
I'm super guilty of that, man. Like anytime the power goes out, it's like, oh, the oven's wrong. I guess I just won't use that clock for anymore.
It's like it takes 20 seconds to fix it.
No, it doesn't. It takes like a lot of mental dexterity. You got to figure out how to get it to the clock setting and go up and down. AM and PM. I just hate those.
How do you look at that though all the time?
I don't. I have a phone in my pocket at all times.
I bet you
it has alarms for when things are important. I
bet you also
clock.
open the microwave door when there's like 3 seconds left, and then don't.
I am
zero
not
it
that
out.
person. Don't you
Those
dare
people.
put that.
They're
name
the worst people.
Guilty.
They leave the 03 up on the display.
Yes,
I do that all the
So
time.
what? On mine, you just turn it and it turns it right back up. So it's like you don't want to hear the beep. Why hear the beep? You don't need it.
Is that the worst thing
Just
in the world?
zero it out. Zero it out. It's always there. All right. Well, there. Now we got that out of the way. Okay.
I feel better.
Yeah, I feel better about it. Tech complaints. All right. Looks like we are live, so people are tuning in now via Periscope and YouTube. Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. So we're gonna get the show going here in just a minute. I'm gonna pull this up.
Cran grape, bro. This is good.
Cran grape. Why? You were gonna
Ocean
make fun of
spray,
me
shout
for
out.
coconut water, yet
Well,
you're
listen.
the one drinking the cran grape.
Well,
I feel
there's
like cran
nothing
grape
wrong.
is like superior compared to all the other cran concoctions that you have. Cran apple is no good. Cran raspberry is just too much. Cran grape is a good.
Cran
balance.
grape's
You
the
know
right
what?
one.
Of the cran cocktails, this is definitely the one that reigns supreme.
I'm coconut water's better. That's just gonna be in my bed.
That's
And there we go. Thanks everybody. That was our tech topics for the day. All right, hello everyone. Welcome to Trends with Benefits, a weekly podcast where we gather a round table of experts to talk about the tech topics of the day. We are broadcasting live on Periscope and YouTube right now. So if you're watching, go ahead and drop in your comments, your questions, whatever you want to do. Whether you prefer grape or coconut water. What is it? Cran grape?
Cran
That's what
grape.
you're drinking? Caleb is drinking cran grape here too. So we've got a bunch of different things we're going to get to. Like I said, let's see who we've got on the panel today. To my right,
Caleb Dennison.
Caleb Dennison,
What's up, everybody?
cran grape aficionado.
Sorry.
Okay, that was just strange, but it was good.
That's what I do.
Ed, to his right,
I'm Brad Burke, and I am an apple juice fan. to be
apple
honest.
juice. Really?
Yeah, is that what
Of all the
you guys-
juices?
I do have some apple juice. Sure.
Yes, drinking apple juice right now on the show. And on the end,
Drew Prindle.
Drew Prindle.
And I would say, I don't know, I got to go with grapefruit juice to be quite honest.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's like a sophisticated.
Not altered. Not
I mean, if there's some gin in it, I won't complain.
Oh,
But
okay.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Live on Periscope right now. We have some people tuning in from Spain and a few different places. So, yep. Hola, hello. Thanks for tuning in. So let's. Hola. I shouldn't do that. That sounded really bad. when I did it. Hola. Hola, señorita. All right, let's get to the topics of the day before I get completely off course. I'm Greg Nibbler, by the way. So first thing we're going to talk about.
Insulting entire ethnic.
Yeah. Well, we just lost Spain, so that happened. Let's talk about the Microsoft Build conference that is happening right now in San Francisco. I'm going to be 100% honest. There's a lot of it that goes on with Microsoft and with these things that, at face value, can be a little bit boring. Am I wrong in saying that? Am I just...
Yeah,
just-
I mean, this stuff is really important. Like, you don't understand that you watch somebody for 30, 40 minutes on stage writing code, highlighting pieces of code, talking about them. That, like, it's funny because these are things that as consumers we kind of look at and we go like, yeah, where's the hardware? Yeah, where's the, like, feature? But they're things that, our computing editor, Matt Smith, was sitting in on these build sessions, and there are developers just going wild on stage as they're showing off these bits of code, and they're like, oh, this one's machine failure proof cluster, and everyone's just going insane, like hooting and hollering, like just loving it. So, it may be boring to us. There are a lot of people who love this.
Off
Yeah.
like crazy right now. Can I just say that, like, I missed the whole thing because I was flying around.
Which we'll
And
get to that.
We'll
too.
get to that. But but I was on Slack, and catching some of the pictures, like the screenshots from the events. Who were these people? They all looked like
fedora
trolls.
guy.
And like what
the fedora guy that like he talked like Justin Timberlake in the 90s, and he God, that guy was awesome.
Without Steve Ballmer around to like sweat really heavily and scream on stage,
right?
These guys are kind of the best we have.
Okay,
we got to kind of live with like
best.
Brian Roper up there with his fedora and vest, saying like, "You got it, that kind of stuff." You got to have the excitement.
Well, the whole point of the conference is to showcase, where they're going with the products, where they see things going. There is some actual good stuff that was going on, but one of the main things that they did bring up has to do with how Microsoft envisions basically the world going towards AI and how they want to be at the forefront of that, minus their issue that they had with Tay.
I don't feel like they're doing so great there.
Their Nazi bot that they put up there.
Good job, guys.
Go ahead.
I think I argue that Tay worked a little too well.
Yeah.
In that if it's the same sort of like Bodie McBoatface syndrome, where if you let people on the internet decide the direction of something, it's going to go badly. The people who are going to get in there, they're going to be very vocal, and they're going to make things happen, whether you want them to or not. And I think the fact that Tay immediately picked up on this and absorb these people's hateful language shows that this thing is really working at a very effective level.
It is. It's a terrifying reflection of society. But yeah, that is one of the things, though. I mean, if they want AI to learn from people, what is ever going to keep people from messing with these kinds of systems that they're putting in place? Like, how do you stop that? If you want it to learn from the environment or learn from the internet, learn from other people, people are just, forever, that is what they're going to do. They will immediately try to find the most horrible thing and make it do that.
Core values, baby. We got a program with core values.
Core values.
Make sure that they, the basic tenets of morality and ethics, behaviors. Yeah, exactly. That kind of crap. Like, there's a reason why that's all up in science fiction, is because somebody thought this through.
Yeah.
Better than Microsoft did, apparently. and they're like, if we try to do this, we're really going to F some stuff up. We should probably make sure that these artificial beings have this baseline understanding of what is cool and uncool, and try and keep this contained, because it's under embargo. It's basically, so yeah, they got a hold of me, to be fair, a little bit more than 2 days before I actually had to go out there. And I landed in New York, grab some dinner, go to bed, and the entire next day I spend, they come up with these venues. So, one thing that Samsung likes to do a lot of is they'll find some sort of crazy art venue or things. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. Was me. Totally me. Gotta have that down. Continue.
But no, they'll come up with some sort of crazy art gallery or event space, and do it all up with lasers and lights, and they'll have this huge presentation and show off a bunch of different products. Or
how many people come in? Is it just?
Well, for a big event like that, it'll be, there'll be 50 or 60 journalists that come through.
Okay.
And do the thing. One time Samsung had an event at the Rainbow Room up at the top of the NBC tower or whatever. That was crazy.
That's cool.
That was amazing. But in this particular case, LG had me come out to come look at their newest OLED TV. And anybody who knows, me and TVs knows that I think OLEDs are the coolest thing in the whole universe. But they're way better than they were last year, and I didn't even think that was possible. But they look incredible. Did you guys watch the Super Bowl, right? Did you see the commercial that LG had with Liam Neeson in it? And he's like, it's a really kind of spacey commercial where you don't get it right away, but he's supposed to be talking to his younger self, as if he had come back in time. And he's talking about picture on glass. Yeah, you and a bunch of other people too. At the end of the whole ratings thing, I think USA Today put it right in the middle, so it was neither loved nor hated. It was just kind of eh. Yeah. And I understand why. It was a really weird commercial. The problem is, it was a really weird commercial for a super awesome TV. And so I got to go out there. They had briefings where we had to sit through long, frankly boring conversations about really heady technology stuff, which is important. It's just not fun. And then they unleash us on these TVs. So that it was this big loft area where they had things cordoned off with heavy black curtains so that we could block out the light. There's some dude, another reviewer, right next to me on the other side of that curtain, and and then they just unleash us on these TVs. And for me, my job is to try and shoot video, get pictures taken, and review the TV all in the space of about 6 hours, which is really, really hard to do. Normally, this kind of TV makes it easier though, because OLEDs are they're already amazing. I've already given one a perfect 10 score. It's the only TV ever to have earned that. So I already knew going in certain aspects, but I could just then focus on the new stuff. And without getting too deep into it, they're brighter than they used to be. They're even more colorful than they used to be. They do some really fancy stuff with high dynamic range, which is not a small deal. I think high dynamic range is bigger than 4K resolution, frankly. I think it has more of an impact on any display under 65 inches. And they just look incredible. And if you go to Best Buy and you see one, they'll have some really awesome demo footage on there. You will understand what I mean. Like, they absolutely look incredible. Hey, Conspiracy Dan.
There he is.
There he is. What do you think about all this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Dan totally agrees with me.
Dan is popping in here right now. See, I don't know if we got the camera up there.
Conspiracy Dan.
Always watching, always judging.
Yep.
Talk about a jet
Conspiracy
setter.
Dan is
Conspiracy
just ready.
Dan does his fair share of traveling around, especially these days. I don't see you very much anymore.
I miss you.
I miss you too, man. Thanks for stopping in.
Is that a goodbye?
I was trying to be gentle about it. No, I'm not.
So many
We were kind of
places
talking about
to
you.
go with that. Yeah, conspiracy Dan.
Conspiracy Dan. Yep,
Okay,
I know, that
sounds
was
good.
it. I think he just declared war on us, is pretty much what just happened right there. All right. Sorry, I'm having an allergy attack while I'm doing all this. Okay. Where were we at?
We were
OLEDs.
talking about amazing OLED TVs.
Amazing OLED
They're
TVs.
badass, and I can't wait for people to get to see them. You know,
Yeah.
you'll see them in Best Buy. You'll understand what I mean. They're coming down in price. They're still fairly pricey, but they're coming down in price. And pretty soon these things are going to take over, and then I don't know what's going to happen because everybody's going to have the most awesome TV ever. It's
Yeah.
going to kind of level the playing field. I
Now,
think.
do you get to take one of these televisions home when you go to this?
This particular model, no. They didn't have a whole lot of them, so that's like a fake vacuuming happening outside our door.
There's so much. If you're listening via podcast, you're just missing out on this. Dan is, I don't even know how to explain it. Behind the window, outside of our room, there's
fake vacuuming.
there's some fake vacuuming going on.
Just for comedic effect. And
Yep,
what's funny
there we
is
go.
that it's
For anybody who
actually
wants the camera shot of that, you can get it. This is why you got to tune in live.
Oh, now he's
every
gone.
Thursday.
And
And
You
now
get
he
to
just
hear
left.
now he
dis-
just left.
every derailment.
It is all Conspiracy Dan's fault. All right, but the televisions are awesome.
The televisions are awesome.
great.
I did not get to
Are they-
take this particular one home. I mean, it should say something that they flew reviewers in to check out the TV as opposed to
Right.
send the TV out to us, which is what they usually do. But I will be getting a slightly less expensive but still as high performance version of it. It's not on the thin sheet of glass. It doesn't
Yeah.
have the convertible sound bar that turns into a bass. It'll be a more simplified version, but we will have one in here. Anyway, our review on that goes live Monday morning, so you
Okay.
can check that out. And then, of course, we'll have more of these amazing OLED TVs coming through that you can check out at digitaltrends.com. It's going to be great.
Fantastic. All right. So let's get on to something else here, actually, that has to do with television. And this is a topic that Ryan and I had spoken about on Between the Streams, the other show we do here at Digital Trends. And I'm curious on your guys' opinion on this and whether or not it's something you would do. And it comes from a company called, let me get them pulled up here. I believe it's Screen. Of course I'm dropping it right now. Screening Room. And it's from the guy who invented Napster. It's the Napster guy. He's back. Wherever he was hiding during this entire time, this is apparently what he was doing. And he's part of this group where what they want to do is they want to bring same-day theatrical releases to your house via a specific product that they've got. You have to watch it on their product. It's this special hardware that they've got that you would screen it on, that you would stream it to. It'd be $50 to stream a movie at home. You get 48 hours to watch it. And the thing is, other people have talked about doing this kind of thing before, but he's got some real people backing it. Steven Spielberg's on board, Ron Howard, Scorsese, Peter Jackson, J.J. Abrams. They're all actually interested in this technology and bringing this to the house, probably to combat some of the issues that theaters are having where people aren't going into theaters and seeing movies as much. Instead, you would rent it at home for $50. Is that something you would do?
It already exists.
It does already exist.
It's called Prima Cinema.
Or yeah, I was
Prima
Pixma.
well, there we go.
Except
okay.
it's like $5,000 or $50,000.
The hardware is
Well, okay.
ridiculously expensive, and then the rental cost is like $250 or some odd dollars for
Oh,
the
right.
for the movie. You get to keep it like all month or something, but
Well, that sounds like you're just opening up your own actual theater.
well,
If it's
and that's
$5,000.
That's
for
the thing is that
My question about this Napster version is, do they limit? Like, did they have some way to tell how many people are in the room watching it, or is it just a flat $50 fee and you just get it and you can invite over as many friends as you want?
I bet they would regulate it like they do with like UFC fights, like something like that. Where if you're renting it, you can't have it in a public space, or they probably have somebody trolling around, making sure you're not inviting the entire neighborhood over.
well, Prima
I bet they'd come
Cinema
up with some
paved
kind of
the way for this already
Yeah.
because they had to answer the same questions. They had to be able to prove that it was being installed at a location that was only capable of holding X number of people. So it was scouted out. If you change the location of the device, it bricks. So
Okay.
you can't use it. And I'm sure they're going to do something similar. But what is remarkable about this is how inexpensive they're talking about making it. Like,
Yeah.
if you're talking about $50 for a flick, and I know this has been tossed around before, like, I'm going to spend way more than that on a family of 4 with popcorn and soda and candy or something
absolutely.
like that. Way more than that. You can't go see a movie for less than $50 these days.
That's true. Although, I mean, you do have to get the set-top box, which is $150.
Yeah, but-
on top of that, but yeah, that's not. I assume they'll have it do something else too besides just stream these. But at the same time, though, is that if there's a movie that's out that you really want to see, don't you want to go get that theater experience?
That depends
True.
on how nice your home theater is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Because
that's-
honestly,
okay.
if I have one of those bad boy OLED TVs and you give me that even in just 1080p with a little Dolby Atmos surround sound stream, and I can watch it with my buddies and eat way better food for less and still
That's
have an
true.
amazing experience, yeah, I'm staying home. And furthermore, there's a lot of people who have projectors and projector screens at home. They're getting a very cool experience at home with a decent surround sound system and
Yeah.
a big old projector screen. Like, honestly, I'll take that over the theater in a lot of cases. I'm really sad I did not go see Star Wars in the theater.
You didn't see Star Wars in the theater?
No.
I've seen it 4 times in the theater.
Yeah.
I saw it again
Sorry.
last night
Well,
on
can
like
I
a
borrow one of your
split-second
times
decision.
to make it feel better?
No, but I would pay $50.
You know, and
Yeah.
Watch it at home.
But so I'm going to make sure that when I do watch it at home, it's going to be under the absolute best circumstances that I can.
Yeah.
That's one I really would have liked to see because you cannot mimic the scale, the sheer massive scale of a huge screen in a big theater. Like some of these living room theaters, like it's not that much better than my house. It really
Right.
just is not. But like a really big, gigantic screen or like an IMAX or something like that, you can't do that at home. That's
Yeah.
totally that's worth going out and having an excursion. But also, so like it comes down to the content. Like I would never want to watch a Fish Called Wanda at the theater. Like who gives a no? I'll wait for that, you know. But
Of all movies to pull
I
out
know,
right there,
I
that
know.
was-
Can you tell how old I am? But no, you know what I'm talking about. You don't want like, do you want to spend that much money?
Are you gonna
on
go
a
watch
rom-com?
Beaches in the theater?
Yeah.
Watch Beaches.
You got your rom-coms and then you got your action adventure blockbusters. I think there's
Yeah.
some stuff that you want to go see in the theater and some stuff that you don't. But getting to see it sooner than later, maybe you'll
Yep.
maybe you'll cough up a few bucks.
For me, it wouldn't be worth it. Like if there's a movie that I want to see that bad, it's usually just going to be some kind of blockbuster like a Star Wars or something where I want to see it on the big screen. I want to experience it there, and I'll still go for that. I don't like waiting in the lines, but I'll still go for that experience. I think over watching it at home.
Well, you know, like Star Wars is kind of, I feel like, a different.
That is
almost,
kind of
and then
different.
it's like, well, going to see Star Wars, especially Force Awakens, was like, oh, it's like
Right.
a big thing where you're like other people who really want to see this movie.
That's a full-on
As opposed
event,
to like
yeah.
10 Cloverfield Lane, I just went and saw that in theaters, and a few of my roommates wanted to see it. We all went and saw it together. I've got 4 roommates. Like,
Yeah.
we could buy any movie at $10 a piece.
That's
basically.
exactly what I was
And
thinking,
it's like
man.
that's perfect.
I-
Like,
I would
we
watch
do
a
that
lot
night
more
a week.
movies,
We
yeah.
do that like once a week. If we
Agreed.
just
I
all
mean,
sat around and watched.
it's really hard to do
movie.
bong rips in the cinema.
It's tough.
And
I didn't want to be the first one to say
Well,
it, but
no,
yeah,
but
like, there's
it-
some advantages to being home.
yes, there's all
Okay,
kinds
fair
of reasons
enough.
you want to be home. They don't have vodka at the Cineplex.
You can pause it if you got to go to the bathroom. Or if you miss something, like with Star Wars, I was wanting to go back and see it the next day, and if I have it for 48 hours, I might watch it.
You can
twice.
watch
Or
it
there's
over
one
and
of
over.
those, oh
If
my
you can
God,
do that, yeah.
did you just see that? Let's
Yeah.
do it again.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many reasons. But,
Totally.
you know, I just brought up an interesting question. Like, when you're flying on a plane, and they've got some recently released flick playing on the plane, but you have to watch it on that crappy little monitor with the crappy, like, in the armrest headphone output.
Right.
Do you watch it, or do you, because you really want to see the movie, or do you wait because you want it to be a good experience?
It depends on what my
Do you
choices
care?
are. Like if my choices are, oh yeah. If by the way, in Periscope, if you've got some questions, go ahead and pop them in there. I'll make a note of it. If my choices are, you know, either like one time I ended up having to watch Monster-in-Law because that was the only one they had. It was like Monster-in-Law or something else.
It was the
or a
Chipmunks last
screaming
night.
child, and so I'm like, well, all right, Monster-in-Law it is.
It was
horrible.
the Chipmunks last night on a 6.5-hour flight from New York at 8 at night till like 12 in the morning. It was freaking Chipmunks.
Oh.
This
How
is
do you not like load up a tablet with some movies? Like this,
I did.
Okay. Oh, but you had already gone through all of them.
No,
or
no,
what?
no. I mean, I turned to it once I realized it was Chipmunks. I was like, F this, and then I pulled out my tablet because
Gotcha,
I'm
okay.
not getting stuck with that again.
If it's on there though and it's free and I end up watching, I watched San Andreas that way, and it was terrible. It was a
saw it.
horrible movie.
I saw The Hobbit on an airplane.
Oh,
How was that?
sucks.
It was
Like
so
for the
bad.
first
Yeah.
time.
And it was beautiful because you get like
Oh.
these great shots of the side of the mountain, and it would just be like this big on the back of the seat.
Do you walk away from that going, man, I have to see it on something
Yeah.
big, right,
Yeah.
like right away.
Yeah.
I need to fix this.
But there's a
Or do you
difference
not
between
really
an
care?
airplane TV and like even my TV at home. You know, like I like going to the theater, but I'm just as happy watching something on my decent TV at home. Like, you know, I don't have the best sound system in the world or the greatest, hugest TV, but like it's fine for me. You know, I don't.
What
miss
about
it.
you,
Somebody
Drew?
is,
Drew is
uh,
cautiously silent on this whole
Just
thing.
a quick note: somebody is projecting this Periscope in their house right now with them in their roommates watching. So, hello.
I love it.
You can stream us. It does not cost $50.
That's amazing.
Drew, what were you
But
gonna
if
say?
you want to.
Yeah, but yeah, unless you want to.
I don't know. I was gonna say it really depends on the movie for me. Like, there are certain things I would probably, you know, like
Yeah.
okay, for example, The Revenant.
Yes.
Saw that pirated version first
Uh,
in shitty quality. One of my roommates downloaded it, and I was like, oh god, I can't look away from this. It was awesome, and then I ended up going and seeing it in theaters 2 times after that. So like, there are
Wow.
certain movies that you're like, holy crap, I really do want to see this in better quality. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Same thing. I don't want to watch A Fish Called Wanda on the big screen.
I'm never going to live that choice
That'll
down.
just be the name of this podcast for no reason, too. All right, well, I'm curious what people think, too. Go ahead and pop in your questions or always email us podcast@digitaltrends.com. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be going forward. With when you have that many people backing it, I would think it's going to happen. James
Who-
Cameron opposes it.
Yeah, Cameron and who else opposes?
There was Brett, what's his name, was opposing it, but then he...
but J.J. Abrams is okay with it, right?
J.J. Abrams is
And
on board, Spielberg,
That'll make all the
Scorsese.
difference. I was talking to some people at some heads of Dolby. You know,
Yeah.
big ass Dolby everywhere, and
Big-ass Dolby.
big ass Dolby. I'm sure they appreciate me saying that. But they, you know, they have this thing called Dolby Vision, which is their specific end-to-end version of high dynamic range. That sounds super nerdy, but it's
Yeah.
really cool. Like they're working with the people who are making the films, authoring the films, and then putting them in your theaters and also your homes, and they're delivering the same experience no matter what. There's no questions. It just works, and it's amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about how they got enough traction so that this was definitely going to kind of take over and become the thing. And they said when they showed it to J.J. Abrams, he was like, that's it. I want that. That's how it's going to be. And then pretty much the rest of Hollywood went, well, us too.
If
You know,
Abrams is doing it,
Abrams
then
is
yeah.
doing it, then we're all doing it. You know
Yeah,
what I
no,
mean?
I
and
felt the same
that's
way.
so. I mean, if he's behind this thing
Yeah.
and saying it's okay, I mean, these are the filmmakers. These are the content creators. I
Mhm.
think the people that are upset about the whole idea are the intermediaries, the studios who are trying to make their buck off of
Right.
getting it into theaters and then waiting to have the DVD or the Blu-ray home release. And do we give a digital copy out? And when do we let Netflix have it? They
Mhm.
kind of lose all their control, or at least that's what they think. I still think you can just give people the option of whether or not they go into a theater or not.
Yeah. I mean,
But
and if
there-
it's $50, they're still going to make money on it.
And
But
someone
how-
must have sat down and made that calculation and said, like, what do we make on each person that goes to the theater or each group of 10 people and goes like, okay, well, it's $50 on a group of 12 people is what we make at the movie level, and that's how many we might assume would fit in a living room, so that's the price of the movie,
And there was a pretty significant amount of the money that they factored in, like going towards that. It was, I think, 20% of the price would go to distributors. $20 out of a $50 price tag would go to some other persons. They've really figured out exactly that, like broke down the
There's a lot
dollar
of teenagers that are going to be out of jobs, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
there's
a
that.
lot of those big ass buildings are going to get turned into churches and stuff.
Laser
like-
tag arenas,
Laser-
man. That's what they're going to
Yes,
turn
that's
into. And
way
then
better.
teenagers
That's
will have
fine.
jobs again.
That's
okay,
fine.
fair enough. See, no, you just fixed the whole problem.
There it
Problem
is.
through.
Problem solved. All right, we've got one last thing here that we have to get to, just because I've seen this story everywhere, and I so want this product to be real, but I don't think it is. And Drew, you wrote about this. It's the product. It's a product that came out, I think, on Indiegogo.
Yes,
is
it
that
did.
where it is? And it's called the Triton, and it's essentially
Artificial gills.
it
artificial
turns you
gills.
into Aquaman.
Yeah.
Well, no, wait. Never mind.
don't geek out on Aquaman and how he breathes.
Sorry,
you're gonna-
underwater.
you're gonna
We don't
I'm not
need to
gonna
go
do
down
it.
that rabbit hole.
Actually, excuse
I
me,
take it
Aquaman
back.
does not have gills.
That's my favorite voice. I love it when you do that.
It's my interpretation.
That's
of
the
it.
guy
With
that works at the game store too.
Yep,
by the
it
way.
is.
It's the same dude.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So yeah, these gills.
Diablo 3. Sorry, okay, sidetracked. Go ahead, Drew.
These gills. So just to give you a little bit of backstory, these things popped up. I think it was in like the end of 2013, beginning of 2014. It was honestly about the same time that I started working here at DT. I remember seeing them pop up on the internet, and back then they were just a concept. They were like a drawing that somebody had made and maybe like a little plastic prototype. And everybody started talking about it, and then eventually it got dismissed as like, yeah, that could never be possible. But then, like 3 weeks ago, these guys put up an Indiegogo, and they have this like demo video, and they have all these websites that are like, so it's either that this thing is real and it works, or these guys have gone to great lengths to prove that it's not fake and that it's not just snake oil.
Yeah.
And it can't be both. But I really think they have really gone to these links to convince everybody that it's not bullshit when it really is. Did a bunch
I
of
mean,
research
that is
on 'em.
impressive if they're doing that.
I really think it is, man. Like I did an inordinate amount of research on this thing.
Who did you call?
Yeah, your
right, so-
article, and this is all at digitaltrends.com, by the way. I highly suggest reading Drew's article here. You are citing some
I-
legit
I
sources
did a
here.
bunch of. I got in touch with UC Berkeley, the head of their chemistry department, to comment on whether or not they could use some sort of chemical process to basically break down water molecules and extract them into their component parts, so they're like oxygen and hydrogen. Apparently that's impossible, or at least very, very difficult, and couldn't happen in a mask that size. Also got in touch with this guy from Duke, Dr. Joseph Bonaventura, who is like, this guy literally wrote the book on artificial gills. Like, he had contracts with DARPA back in the 1970s.
Oh,
like,
wow.
He's been working on this stuff for, like, decades. And I told it to him, and he broke it down. He's like, well, this is how much oxygen is dissolved in seawater. And, like, this is how much oxygen a person needs per minute at their basal metabolic rate. And you have to draw this much seawater through these filters in order for this to work. And he was like, you just can't do that with something that small. It's, like,
Yeah.
physically impossible with the technology that we currently have. So, based on all of this stuff, that it's not just me who's saying this either. There are all
Right.
kinds of articles all over the internet that just basically debunk this thing and say, like, there's no way that it could work. And I'm certain that it can't.
So they're just scamming people and taking money? I mean, I'm assuming...
I think it is because and they're making off like thieves, man. They're coming up on $1 million on Indiegogo right now.
$1 million that people are just... I mean, if it was legit, I would definitely donate to that. I mean, that sounds, sounds awesome.
I really
Sounds
want
amazing.
it to be real, but there's no way that it can be.
Yeah,
And
$878,000 they've
it
got
just
right
feels so scammy. Scroll down and look at the guys who are running it. Just like look at the two, like the CEO. and
Do they
Chairman.
just
they
look-
just look like people that are just trying to steal your money.
now. Yeah, they do kind of. Yeah.
Like the guy who designed it, he looks innocuous enough, but the two like marketer guys
Uh-huh.
behind the campaign just look.
John Kademi.
And the thing is, I tried to look them up. I tried to find like those pictures on Google and see if they like stole it from like a stock photo website or anything like that. I couldn't find anything, but I really
I am
suspected
trusted
that-
businessman.
Successful Indian man of Indian descent.
It
Wearing
is.
classic suit.
Yep, that's...
But
all
the
right.
thing is, I also got in touch with the creator, with these guys, the Saeed whatever Kademi.
Yeah.
Got in touch with him through email and asked him. I was like, "Hey man, this looks like bullshit. Can you give me some assurances that it's
that-
not? Can you prove? Can
Was
you
that the
give?"
title of your email? Like,
I mean, I really did just call it out to him. I was
Yeah.
like, "Man, this doesn't look legit to me. I don't feel good about writing about it and saying that it's real. Can you give me more details so that I can, like assure people that it's not snake oil?
Right.
He basically said, no, I can't do that because we haven't gotten any patents yet, and I don't want to like explain the technology because then somebody might steal it, which is bullshit. I don't want to get into why, but like
Yeah.
that's just not how patents work. Just
Right.
won't get into it. But he kept saying, he's like, oh, well, we're going to make another video. Because they have a video right now where he uses it underwater, but it cuts like every 30 seconds. So you're like, this is clearly like stitched together. They claim that this thing can keep you underwater for 45 minutes, breathing at your normal rate. But they don't show it for any longer than that. And I was like, come back to me with a video
Yeah.
of you breathing for at least like, I don't know, 7 minutes. Doesn't have
Right.
to be forever, just like longer than you normally
Long
would.
enough to where you would die if you. Yeah.
And he's been stringing me along for like 3 weeks now. Just like, oh, I'm going to Sweden to make it. I'll be back.
I haven't found a
It's
pool
coming,
yet.
I promise. They've been doing the same thing on the Indiegogo page too, just like telling all of the people who are asking questions, and he's just been saying, yeah, it's coming, I promise. But at the same time, the ticker is going down, the days are getting less, and they're getting closer to getting that $800,000.
Is there any?
What does this
Any
say about
way to get-
Indiegogo, though?
Yeah, that's
was
what I
gonna say
mean.
There's like a fundamental difference there too, if I'm not mistaken, between Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Where
Yeah.
Kickstarter, you have to present a working prototype in order to qualify to start your.
Well, and it has
right?
to be unique, and your idea, and
There's a lot of a lot
they
of
have a
steps.
bunch of
thing
stipulations.
is-
Indiegogo, you can put up I could put up a thing and be like, I want a new graphics card for my computer, so
Yeah.
donate for a new graphics card for me, and I'll play video games on it. That's the reward, that you could do that on Indiegogo.
And I'll be happy. And there's your reward. So they can just take this money. Like,
I mean, there might
For
be
no consequences.
Indiegogo might come in and cancel the campaign if people raise enough,
I mean, in a way, I
I-
guess if the rules are that you can take the money, I mean, more power to them. They've convinced people to give them $878,000 for nothing. It's slimy, but hey, if they're playing by the
it
rules,
happens on both platforms, but that's just like one of the fundamental challenges of crowdfunding. Like, it's really hard to tell between a project that is deliberately fake and they're just trying to scam you, or a project that somebody genuinely is trying to make and they just fall short. They just aren't
Right.
a good enough business person to bring this product to life, and they end up just failing and stealing everybody's money inadvertently.
That's true. That's true. Well, this one, I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of just with the amount of research that you did. There's a lot of proof that it wouldn't work, that they wouldn't be able to do this.
They just, physics doesn't agree with this thing. Like, it just doesn't work. And if the only way it could work is if they've figured out something that everybody's been failing to figure out for the past 40 years. All these scientists and engineers that have been trying to make artificial gills for like the military and what have you. All these guys have been falling short. I just think it's very unlikely that these three guys have
I
just
think
stumbled
apparently
across
these
it.
guys wanted to get their bank accounts filled to the gills.
Yep. Oh,
That was a sneaky pun, Caleb. That
it was there.
They
It was there.
Punched me in the kidneys.
Yep,
you
it was
son
right
of a
there.
bitch.
Just
That hurt.
So
Think
sorry.
about that. Rewind the podcast. Listen to that one over and over.
Brad's actually sad right now. He's like, I don't want to work here
You can
anymore.
feel, you can feel that hit the room. We were all just like, "Ah."
That's
God
there's nowhere to go after
damn
that.
it.
Well, real quick, for $1,100, you can pick up 5 of them right now on the Indiegogo site.
Shoot, sounds like a
wanna go
deal to
in
me.
on
It's a pretty good deal.
Split a 5-pack.
All right, so thanks everybody for tuning in to Trends with Benefits. We really do appreciate it. We're live here every week, Thursdays at 2:30 p.m. Pacific on YouTube and Periscope. Tomorrow, between the streams, we'll be live at 2 p.m., so go ahead and tune in for that too. Send us in your questions, your emails, podcast@digitaltrends.com.
Favorite puns.
Favorite puns, if you've got a better one than Caleb's,
Oh,
good,
that's not
good luck
hard.
to you. Good luck to you if you can come up with that. All right, thanks so much, everybody. We'll be back next week with another episode.
Sorry, man.